All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be wrapping up our OP09 competitor series on jewelry Bonney, okay? So we've already gone over Shanks, Red Shanks, Purple Luffy, Blackbeard, Yellow Enel, and what's the other one? I'm missing one, Blue Doffy. Now we're going to finish up the color wheel, going over a green leader in jewelry Bonney. Now, there were definitely some close second or even third options for some of these colors. Like, for example, I think for black, Smoker and Blue Tier are definitely still in the conversation for very, very high-level decks. I think red has Shanks, purple has Luffy, and blue has Doffy. Those are pretty set. Some people might say Boa for blue. But I do think green and yellow also had some very close runner-up second place decks that I really considered, running. Yellow was Katakuri, and green was Green Uda. But we're going to go over jewelry Bonney. I think the decks I chose were like the most competitive, and if they're not the most competitive, then they'll at least probably be the most represented at these tournaments. But we'll have to see what happens, guys. It's still very early in OP09 for us in the West. So, all right, let's do this, guys. Let's get into it. It will be the same formatting as the other 5 videos, and I will have those other videos linked down in the comment section below for you to check those out. But we're going to be going over the deck list first, then, and we're going to be going over a second-place deck list in OP09, guys. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So we're going to be going over the deck list first, then we're going to hop over to the sim and do 5 games on the sim, and we're going to finish up by going over the deck list again, kind of talking about it, wrapping it up, and, I'll give you guys my final thoughts on it that way. All right. Okay, guys, let's do this. I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section below. And as usual, guys, I always have to mention this. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord and hang out with us on there, because we're always having fun talking One Piece 24/7 in there. The link to that is in the channel description. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get into it. First things first, we're going to go ahead and check out the deck list. Let me go ahead and move the leader slide here, move my face out of the way. And the list we're looking at today, this is not my creation. Let me load it in so you guys can see it. So here's the whole thing. I just removed the leader. Pause and read this if you need to know what the leader does. This is what I'm running here, but this is not my list. Watch this, guys. This list is from an individual named Nicholas Powell. I hope I said the last name correctly. But Nicholas here got second place in an OP09 tournament, an online treasure cup running green jewelry Bonney. Okay, very good stuff. I think this was the very first OP09 tournament in the West for us. And it was like a large-scale tournament, of course, for OP09. And this is the list they're running. And notice the price tag at the top left, guys, where my mouse is right here. $140 USD. That is actually very affordable. And legitimately over half the deck is across these 4 cards, Cavendish, like all 4 copies of Cavendish. And we're going to talk about potential replacements for this card. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think this card is very, very important for the success of the deck. But if you just don't have access to the card, well, we have to run something else in the place of it, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. Everything else, though, guys, very affordable. Even the 3 Shanks here, the 9-cost Shanks are about $4 a piece, $4.50 a piece. We'll take that every time. Really good stuff here. This deck is extremely affordable and a very strong deck, and we're going to be featuring that in today's video. So big shout out to Nicholas for getting second place with this list and making an awesome deck. Okay, so with that in mind, here we go, guys. This is the list. I just took the leader off so it fits perfectly on 2 rows. I believe I copy-pasted this, so unless I messed up somewhere, this is the list. And this is what we're going to be showing off in today's video. So real quick, I'm going to run through the list, and then I'll talk about potential replacements for this one card in particular. So we're running 4 Cavendish, 2 of the 2K counter Scratchman of Pooh, the 1-cost one, 3 Eustace Kid, 2 Carrot, 4 Doflamingo, 4 Baby 5, the 2K counter, 4 Rosinante, 4 Baby 5, the Searcher, 3 Hody Jones, 3 of the Jewelry Bonney, the 5-cost Bonney that locks down a rested Dawn or a rested character. Very, very powerful effect. 1 Basil Hawkins, just 1. 4 Carrot, this card is an absolute beast. 2 Beige, this is the 1-cost blocker, of course. 4 of Jewelry Bonney, the Searcher. 3 Shanks, and 3 whoever wins this war becomes Justice. So real quick, let's just get this out of the way. Everything else on here is extremely affordable, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about replacements. But for Cavendish, The way that this deck is made actually makes me very happy because I think it is a deck that will be very easy to replace the Cavendish in. Now, understand right away, you can't quite replace this card as far as like what it's actually doing. There is no actual one-to-one replacement currently in the game. However, we can get close. We can maybe not even get close, but we can find some decent substitutes. Let me say it like that. This is a very unique card that allows us to have access to like 12 Dawn turns, right? Potentially. Very, 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 very powerful. Now, if you can't find this card, you know, locally, if it's too expensive, it's outside your budget, I'm going to tell you some cards that you can potentially replace it with. The first card to really consider is Uruj. So notice this deck is not running this card, and understand why. 4 cost is a very unpopular cost in the game currently because Blackbeard has a lot of effects that can very easily hit a 4 cost card. Even Van Augur plus Doc Q can pop a 4 cost card. Now, they can still hit bigger cards than that with cards like Shigan Finger Pistol. That can hit a 5 cost, and so can Laboon plus Doc Q. That can also hit a 5 cost. However, 4 cost is also a no-no, cost when it comes to Doflamingo. 4 cost Trafalgar Law can bounce a 4 cost character. So all the tempo you thought you generated last turn is not being generated. And that is why this card is probably completely omitted from this deck list. Because I'm having to invest a full-on 4 Dawn commitment, and my opponent is just bouncing the card back to my hand. And they are also getting tempo along the way. So this is still the card to consider, though, until you get access to the Cavendish. Some other cards to consider is going up to the 4th Bonney. So that's one spot we can use. Any amount of Cavendish you want to add to the deck, up to 4. Basil Hawkins, going up 2 of these, maybe 3 of these, could also help you a little bit. And again, understand, guys, I'm not saying it's a direct one-to-one exchange. It's not. It's just what we have to deal with if we're working on a budget. Carrot is also a really interesting card in the deck. It's like a 5 cost version of a Uruj, but it's not searchable. It's a 5 cost and it's a 2k counter, but it's not a blocker. So it's a 5 cost, 5,000 power 2k counter. End of your turn, set up to one of your Dawn cards is active. And in fact, I will say this: I think your best option for replacing this card for the time being is going up to 4 carrots. Go up to 4 carrots and then maybe 2 of the Uruj, because at least you'll get a little bit of blocking in against decks that might help against certain decks. Who knows? It'll at least make them use removal, and we'll get the Dawn up at the end of the turn. So those would be my top picks: is adding more carrots and more Uruj. But the other next 2 closest options would be adding up more Jewelry Bonnies and more Basil Hawkins. Now, if you guys can think of a good replacement down in the comment section below, by all means, share it down there. Let me also try like other 5 cost cards I'll look at real quickly. Yeah, guys, that looks, maybe Diamante, that would be interesting. It's not the same, but who knows? Maybe if you're going to be leaving 2 Dawn open, you might be able to stand this guy up in a turn, and he works as a blocker. He's a 5 cost, 1k counter. There might be some argument to mess around and try a card like this out, but I don't think it's a great option. It at least has a 1k counter. Another card as just an interesting tech card could maybe be Doflamingo. That could be interesting as well. Again, I can't stress this enough. I'm not saying the card is as good, but it's another option for the time being if you don't have access to what you need. Also, 5 cost Trafalgar Law. You can do some interesting tricks with this to save your little your little characters like the Jory Bonney, or the where's the baby 5? The baby 5, and then pull down a blocker like this, right, or a Rosinante. There are some options there. They're not great, but they're also not terrible. So something to consider. And again, if I missed a card, you guys tell me in the comment section below of a potential replacement for the people who are building on a budget who don't have full access to this card. Okay, and that's about it, guys. Let me just run through the list now and just kind of tell you how the deck functions for any of the newer players. You want to fix your hand with cards like Jory Bonney. Jory Bonney's big search target is, of course, Cavendish and Eustace Kid. And then for Baby 5, your big search targets are Doflamingo and Rosinante. Those are the major targets you're looking for that can really swing the game in your favor and give you enough tempo to coast into the late game and win, right? Or at least when you get to the late game, it'll help you win with the 10 cost Doffy and the 8 cost Eustace Kid. Now, generally speaking, with this list, you're going to actually take life fairly aggressively and rely fully on your leader effect to only take 1 hit per turn. Battle for the board if you have to, but just make sure you're getting, you're not countering out too aggressively, because what you want to eventually do is drop down the big boy here, Eustace Kid, and say, okay, do your best. And now you're going to have all your counters saved up in hand to counter out with your Eustace Kid. So Cavendish is excellent, of course, for what it does. Every time you, whenever you play it, and whenever you attack with it, it will give you 2 Dawn active. It'll set 2 Rested Dawn as active. However, your leader has to be Supernova, and you cannot have another Cavendish in play. So make sure you don't try to double up on these guys if you're a newer player trying out the deck for the first time. No, you can only have 1 in play. It says it on the card. Okay, 2K counter Apu. We'll skip over this. Even though it does have on-play rest up to one of your opponents costs 2 or less characters, that could help you win a game getting over blockers. You never know. So very interesting tech, 2K counter there. And this is Supernova Searchable by Bonney. Eustace Kid is just a brick wall. It allows you to cheat out a blocker the turn you play it, put him into play, rest him, attach a Dawn to him. Very, very strong card. Carrot, we already talked about. Great utility 2K counter. The only downside to this card, well, number one is it's not searchable, and then it's also, it doesn't have like a block or anything extra. It just has the end of turn. So it's like an Uruj, but with no blocker, but instead you add 2K counter, but you lose the, well, you gain 1 Dawn, and but you lose the searchable type. Doffy is an absolute beast in this deck, guys, because remember, every time they attack, you're tapping down a target. So he will always hit for at least 2, unless they don't want to swing for the turn. Okay, perfect. Don't swing for the turn. And then on the next turn, when you swing, finally, I'll be able to attack you with the Doffy I already have on the board, and then lock down your characters again. You know, it's like, okay, sure, if you don't want to attack, be my guest. But this card is a juggernaut. It is an absolute win condition in this deck. We all know 2K counter Baby 5 here. And then, of course, Rosinante. Let me move the leader. Rosinante, just an outstanding blocker. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. This card is incredible. Baby 5 Searcher can search up Rosinantes, Doflamingos. Whoever wins this war becomes Justice and things like that. Hody Jones is one of the best closers in the game, guys. It's one of the best finishers and closers in the game. This card will help your matchup against Nami because you can rest down their Dawn. This is just an incredible utility card right here. Great card. It's also, you're going to see, guys, we have a game against Blackbeard. Well, guess what? He's a 7 cost 8K rush, period. And then his on-play effect against Blackbeard gets negated. So I don't have to lose a life from his effect. So this card is actually excellent against Blackbeard, and it's very good against Nami, and it's just great at closing out games. Outstanding card. Jewelry Bonney, we already talked about this a little bit, the 5 cost. Great card here. 5 cost 6K, tempo card with a 1K counter. Supernova searchable, and we can lock down a Dawn, a rested Dawn, or a character. And there's no cost restriction on that. You can rest down. If a character's rested, you can keep it locked down with Jewelry Bonney. Very strong effect. Basil Hawkins is just an incredible quality blocker. Excellent card here. Carrot is an absolute menace. This card is an MVP in any deck that can run green. It locks down a 7 or less when it comes into play, and then whenever you attack, it can keep it locked down. Excellent lockdown control card. Very, very strong. Beige is just a good utility blocker. Supernova searchable. Jewelry Bonney's the searcher for Supernovas. Shanks is not searchable either, unfortunately, in this deck, but it is such a high value quality card. It can just come into play as a 9 cost and pop any rested character. There's no cost restriction, and now you're establishing an 11K body. Guys, an 11,000 power body is massive. Okay, it is absolutely massive. And then, of course, 0 cost 3K. Okay, so that's the list, guys. Like I said, if I missed anything or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put that stuff down in the comment section below, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Now, let's get into some games. Enough yapping, right? Okay, we got to get into some games. Let's see this thing in action. So let me go ahead and tell you guys the matchup spread we have for today. First game here is going to be Jewelry Bonney versus Blackbeard. After that, we're going to have a game versus Red Shanks, and then Blue Doffy, and then Purple Luffy, and we're going to finish off with Red Purple Luffy. Okay, so I tried to pick some pretty decent matchups here. So the volume is off. The speed is already on 2x. Excellent. And here we go, guys. First game up here against Blackbeard. Very interesting matchup here. I actually like Jewelry Bonney's matchup into this a little bit, but I do think Blackbeard's still pretty good as well. So we're going to start off with the Searcher. I'm not going to rest it down for some reason. I don't know. I probably should have just to get him to attack into it. But, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll get him to play out a Dock Q and I can swing into that. Who knows? Okay, so he's going to do this, do that. He swung in. We take it. Like I said, I take life pretty aggressively. And he did not. Okay, let me just say this right now, guys. I should have used the Jewelry Bonney, I feel like. But at the same time, trying to get a Dock Q out of his hand early on Maybe there was a point in that if I'm not trying to KO it, like maybe just waste a card in his hand to get rid of one of my searchers. Well, I don't know. Let me walk it back. Here we go. What I'm trying to say is this. I think I should have used Joey Bonney in case he had Doc Q. That is the thing. Like, just use it now. If he has Doc Q, it's going to get KO'd anyway. And if he doesn't, he's going to attack into it. Sure, be my guest. Right? Absolutely, absolutely be my guest. So, with that in mind, here we go. We did get away with one there. We're going to load 1 on the leader. We're going to swing in for 6. He has no characters on the board to rest, so I'm not going to worry about leaving a Dawn active. I'm going to play out the Joey Bonney. I grab Basil Hawkins, arrange 2 Doffys at the bottom of my deck. Well, how would I say it? Like, not the bottom. So my bottom cards now will be 2 cards and then 2 Doffys. So I lost 2 Doffys this game already, which is a little bit concerning, right? That's a little bit concerning, so I have to keep my eye on that. Always pay attention to your searches, guys. You don't necessarily have to put them on the bottom of your deck in any specific order because you'll probably never see them again, but the idea is this. Some decks do go through their deck, like Nami, Red Green Law would go through their deck sometimes, right? But here's the thing. Make sure you know, like, okay, well, I only have 2 more 10-cost Doffys in my entire deck list that I can find because 2 are, like I said, 2 from the bottom of my deck. Okay, so here we go. They're going to swing in for 6 here. I'm actually just going to block out of that. I'm going to keep my searcher going and go about things that way. So here we go. He's going to start locking me down. It's turn 3 for me. I'm on 6 Dawn, and he's going to start locking down so I can't play out a Cavendish and get the effect right away. But honestly, guys, might play him out anyway. Nope, we're going to do some searching here. Nice. There's a 10-cost Doffy. I feel a lot better now because even if I go over the last one with a search, it doesn't matter. I at least have 1 10-cost Doffy to try to lock down the board. Now, in all fairness, in this matchup, it might not matter as much. So there's Doc Q. They're going to pop Jory Bonney here. Sure, you can have it. They're going to swing in here. I'm going to use the leader effect to lock down the leader. And then I'm actually going to use my blocker again to save my searchers. Okay, we're going to swing 1,000 into 0. He lets that go, draws a card. No big deal. We'll swing 5 into 5. He takes that as well. And now it looks like, okay, so he turned off my leader effect, right, guys? He turned off the leader effect. I'm going to do a search here. Let's see what we choose to do with this. And I'm going to play out the Cavendish, and your turn. So remember, I don't get the Cavendish effect because he turned off my, not my leader effect. I keep saying that. My on-play effects for the turn with his leader effect. So here we go. He's gonna cycle out the stage to get a top 3 search. He grabs. Okay, he plays out Jack. Seems good. That's gonna pop one of my baby 5 searchers, but not a big deal. Whatever he attacks with here, we're gonna rest down the other. So he swings in. We take it. Plays out Doc Q, and he's starting to get quite a bit of board control here. However, you know this game's far from over. You know, this is still a pretty tight game we have here. Now, Cavendish does have a when attacking effect as well. That's the same as the on-play, and we can use that even if he turns off our on-play effects for the turn. So now I'm going to swing 5 into the leader, takes it, 6 into the leader, takes it, and now we're going to probably swing in for 8 into the leader. He takes that as well. I'm going to play out the Jory Bonney, and it's his turn. Okay, so he's going to nullify my leader effect for the turn, but I have no Dawn. I had a feeling he was going to drop that. That's why we used all of our Dawn for the turn. And here we go. He is going to try to take out my board. I can almost guarantee you he's going to try and take out this board, but I have quite a bit of counter power in hand because I've been taking life very aggressively. And if he cannot, okay, 5 at face, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take that. He was probably hoping I'd use a counter there because look, 8 into 6, nope, 0 cost 3k. 9 into 6, nope, 0 cost 3k and a 1k or a 2k or whatever, didn't matter. And then here we go, guys. We're going to play this guy out. We're going to swing for 7, stand our Dawn up. We're going to swing for 7, 7, 8, 8. It's just, there's no way out, right? Or 7, 8, 9 or something like that. Very good game. We were able to just run this guy over, just flat out run him over. Those 7-cost Hody Jones in the Blackbeard matchup, you know, chef's kiss, those things are absolutely incredible. Who cares if it doesn't rest down 2 characters? It doesn't matter because I'm saving life in the process. So it's just absolutely massive. So really good game there. Bonney does feel, at least in my limited testing, Bonney felt pretty strong into Blackbeard. But I have seen Blackbeards do very well against, or I think in my testing there was a Blackbeard that did pretty well against me as well. We'll have to see. Okay, tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. Next up we have Game versus Shanks. Volume is off, speed is on 2x. Here we go. Okay, well now this game I can play as many Cavendish as I want to. He's not going to be able to lock that down. So he plays out Uda. He reveals a 10-cost Shanks. I'm going to search the top of my deck here and see what we get. And I'm actually going to swing for 6 to get over his leader effect. And then I'm going to leave 1 Dawn active instead of playing out the Rosinante. And whatever he attacks with, I'm going to rest the other. Okay, let's see what he does. He should swing 2 into my baby 5, and I'll just rest that. Because, I mean, he could have swung 5 into baby 5. I'd have done the same thing and just rested the 1 cost. It doesn't matter. But that's definitely the route. It's just I would have swung the 5 into the 1 because you know I'm going to rest the other character. He plays out a Hongo. That's very annoying because he's probably trying to set up for later turns so that he can actually, you know, get rid of, you know, a bigger character. Okay, we're going to play out Cavendish, which can get hit by, I mean, that can already get hit by Ben Beckman. But, you know, who knows? Maybe if he's trying to combo Hongo with Beckman to get rid of, like, a Hody Jones later or something like that. There's more power reduction. Okay, we got to be careful of that. We got to watch out. They're going to attack. We're going to rest down the Hongo because that's a much easier target for us to KO. Swinging in for 5. Does he want to use leader effect now and give me a counter? If he does, that's fine with me because we have other options still. He lets it go. I think that was very wise. Now we're going to play out the Hody Jones. We're going to rest down that guy, the Yasop. We're going to swing probably 6 into him. Okay, and he's going to take that, and now I'm going to swing for 8 or 10 into him. I don't want him to have this card, or if he wants to have it, he needs to give me 3 cards from hand. He chose to just let it go. That was probably the right decision, and since the character's gone, I don't need the extra Dawn for my leader effect anyway, right? Okay, so here we go, guys. I have a pretty large body on the board now. Hody Jones is no joke. I play very aggressively with my Hody Jones, guys, if y'all have not picked up on that. Okay, plays out Edward Newgate. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good answer to what we just did there with the Building Snake combo. He swings 6 at face. I'm going to take that. I'm going to almost always gladly take life. So here we go. I've got a few options here. I could have slammed down the 9-cost Shanks. That's definitely an option I could have done. But I want him to commit a little more to the board, and I want to have these looming threats on the board. Cavendish is a threat at all times, and so is my, so is Carrot. So, okay, I'm going to swing in for 6, okay? And so he took the first hit for 6. Here he's going to use the leader effect and counter out with a 1. I'm going to play out a Rosinante, and I'm going to play out a Beige. And I'm basically saying, like, okay, I have nothing else I can rest for the turn. So, again, I don't need my leader effect currently because of how this turn played out. I don't need a leader effect. He can just swing in with his... He's going to swing in there. I'm going to block. Okay, I'm not letting him have the Droid Bonney over the other character right now, and I'm going to block that as well. So 2 blockers have gotten me directly through this turn. I have an absolutely pristine 10-cost turn here, or yeah, with my 10-cost character turn, where I can lock down their entire board. Okay, now the Carrot will not get much value out of this turn. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And swinging with my Cavendish first means I got to stand 2 of my Dawn is active. I'm going to swing in for 5. We're probably going to do a search here. Actually, maybe not, because I was going to say do a search and leave 1 Dawn active for my leader, but why would I need to do that? I don't need a Dawn active. His entire board is locked down. So we have a searcher. Even if he has a rush card here, we'll be able to get out of it. He really needs to get rid of one of these 5-cost characters. Like, sure, it'd be nice to get rid of the 10-cost Doffy, but those 5-cost characters are putting in work. But here's the really bad news. I can just use my Rosinante to save them now. That's the really bad news, right? So here we go. Let's see what happens next. Okay, I'm going to slam down the Shanks to get rid of Shanks, okay? And now we can start swinging in. I can lock down one of these, what are they called? One of these 7-cost 8K Edward Newgates. We're going to swing 6 into face. And let's see what he does now. He gives me a... It takes 1K off and 1K counters out. Takes off 1,000 power with his leader effect, and then 1K counters out. We're going to swing for 7, locking down one of these Newgates. And honestly, I think I should swing this into him. Yeah, and this is going to cost a 2K and a 1K or some type of event. He has 3 Dawn active. Maybe he has an event. He does have a Bad Manners kit course. We're going to do a top 5 search for Jory Bonney, grabbing a Supernova card. I only have access to use this kit or a Jory Bonney. And, we go ahead and go use the Jory Bonney. We'll swing in for 5. He is going to have 2 attacks this turn, potentially. So I am going to leave 1 Dawn active. He plays out the blocker first. That was a mistake, guys. That was a mistake. However, he makes another mistake as well, at least in my personal opinion, where he swings. I believe he swings with his leader first. Okay, let's see what he does here. In fact, he probably swings with his leader first just so I tap down the Edward Newgate because of what he did. because otherwise I could have tapped down the Rayleigh and gone for game this turn, and that was an option. I could have tapped down the Rayleigh and gone for game. That was a legitimate option, but I'm in such a commanding position right now. It's like, nope, let's just chill. We're just going to attack. So, and I think I still do go for game. Like I said, he's up against the ropes. Swing 11, swing 11. These are all going through. And here we go. Going to swing for 7 here, locking that guy down. -1 there. Yeah, gives me a 2K. Then we will swing for 8, and then we're going to swing for 11. Okay, GG. That was not the best math at the end, so bear with me there. And again, like, I think what I probably should have done was just rest down the... Well, actually, no, I shouldn't have rest down the Rayleigh. The guy really messed up by swinging the way he did. Because I guess no matter what... Maybe that's why he played out the blocker. Maybe he played out the blocker to try and get me to rest that down and attack in with the 8K new gate. I have no idea, guys. You tell me in the comment section below. I have absolutely no idea. All right, next game. We got a game versus Blue Doflamingo. Okay, this is a pretty interesting matchup. You have to go into full-on lockdown control, and that's what Bonney does. That is the name of her game. Now, the leader effect in this matchup is massive, guys. The leader effect in this matchup is crazy. I'm going to play out Jory Bonney past the turn. If he wants to play out the Trafalgar Law, which he does, he can if he wants to, but that pulls back his card. I'm not really too worried about it. He pulled back a 1-cost card for me. That does nothing. I'm going to swing 7 into 5. Let's see if he wants to save it. That will cost 2 cards from hand. I would let it go as well. Play out. I'm going to play out both blockers now, or both searchers now, because he does not have a character for me to rest on the board. And I'm going to give my opponent the benefit of the doubt here. I'm not going to assume he plays this incorrectly. Okay, so he plays that out. He's going to attach a Dawn, and I think he had set that with his first Perona, right? He knew what was coming. Now with his remaining 1 Dawn, he'll probably play out the Perona. Actually, he just passes. I would have played out the other Perona personally. That's just me. Okay, so I'm swinging for 5. He gives me the 1K counter. Okay, there goes the Perona. I know that's gone now. I'm going to play out the carrot here. We're going to lock that down, and we're going to do a search. Again, not leaving a Dawn active because I've already locked down one of their characters for the turn with carrot. Carrot is actually very good into this matchup, by the way, because they can't bounce it with Trafalgar Law. They can bounce it with something like a Jozu or a Gravity Blade, but hey, it is what it is. You know, no card's perfect, right? There's always some kind of counter to each card, or some way to play around it at least. So he's going to swing in for 7. I'm going to take that. Look at my hand size. I am flirting. Look, did you see I went up there and I moused over his 4 Dawn? I'm like, okay, here comes pudding. Guys, that was what I noticed in my testing. If they have pudding, you're probably not winning that game. Or I guess you could start playing countering out way more aggressively. That is an option. But generally speaking, you're probably not going to win the game if they have pudding just by itself. And your hand size gets like above 7. But if they don't have pudding, you're probably going to be able to win the game pretty easily. I shouldn't say easily, but it's going to be much easier to win in that way. Okay, so I have 2 Dawn. Notice there's not a Dawn attached to my Eustace Kid, so they can't attack into it. I was literally just putting him down so that they might, maybe you want to attack into my Eustace Kid this turn. Wink, wink. You don't have to, but you might want to. In fact, they probably should, to be completely honest, unless they think they can go for game. Or at least go for my carrot. Going for carrot would have been a very good play as well. Okay, let's see what they choose to do here. I have quite a bit of counter power in hand. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9K in hand. So let's see what he chooses to do here. He cannot swing with the Jinbei or the Boa. He played that out this turn. He just set his top 3 cards. There's the whatchamacallit, the card we were just talking about, pudding. I was like, man, hopefully he doesn't have pudding, but if he has it, he has it. It is what it is. And at that point, I think your chances of winning go down astronomically. But it's not unbearable. It's still you don't just automatically lose. Let me say it like that. You don't just auto lose if you get if you get pudding. I was just messing around if I said that, and that's the way it came across. Okay, we're going to swing for 6. We do need to attach a Dawn here. I don't think there's any question. I think we have to attach a Dawn here. I'm trying to see what I can do. I'm like, let me see some other options. Okay, so I do a top 5 search with the baby 5 search. We snag a 10-cost Doffy. Perfect. And now we're going to do the Jory Bonney search. I really don't want to play out any of these 8 and 9 cost characters in my hand. So it's like, okay, let's play out something else. Let's just completely fix our hand. Since we already got hit with that pudding, let's try to get some, get some ground back. So we're going to swing in for 10. But obviously, they're going to take that, right? 9 times out of 10, they're going to take that one. We're going to play out the Rosinante. We have 1 Dawn left after playing out the beige. And it's my opponent's turn. He has to attack into my Eustace Kid. I have 2 blockers and my leader effect. So when he goes to swing in the first time, 2 targets are going to get tapped, right? Like the whoever attacks and the person that I choose to rest with my effect. And it will be a Jewelry Bonney for sure. Okay, so right here, he has a full board, so resting the leader was not the right choice, I'm going to be honest, guys. But at the same time, who knows? Let's see what happens. Now he's going to swing in with the Jewelry Bonney. I'm going to give him the 1k blocker. That's fine. And now he only gets 2 more. Okay, that was just a blunder. I guess he was just going to try to swing. Well, it was going to be swing 8, swing 7. So what he was... let me pause. It ends up not mattering because what he should have done instead was swing in for... What was that? 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 5 is 11. If he would have swung for 11 into my Eustace Kid, which is what he should have done, I would have just blocked with the Rosinante. Instead of trying to do these 2 jumbled attacks, you can't do that, so we're just going to give him a blocker. Okay, so it ended up not mattering, even though he messed up the math. I still gave him what he deserved there instead of the 0 cost 3k, like I could have done. So we're going to swing 6 into 4 here, resting that guy. Now we're going to swing 5 into 5. Go ahead and give me some cards from hand. Yep, thank you very much. Now we're going to swing 8 into 5. I think we should swing 8 into 6, but that's fine. We'll go 8 into 5, see if it survives. It does not. And now we're going to drop the 10 cost Doffy, and his entire board is locked down. How did I lock down the 4th one? Remember, guys, Carrot can lock down every time it attacks. It can lock down a 7 cost or lower rested character. He's going to play out the Crocodile and use the effect to bounce back the Baby 5. I don't know if that was worth it, I'm going to be honest, because that's just another 1k counter I get now. So he did not get to attack whatsoever that turn. That entire turn was nullified. It was completely countered. So we're going to swing 5 into 5 here. Again, I'm just trying to get cards from his hand. That's my entire goal here, is just keep getting these cards from his hand. He lets it go. All right, I'll swing 6 into 6 here. See if that goes, locking down your Newgate. Okay, well, again, just going to keep doing what we're doing. It's working out just fine. 10 into 6, that would cost both cards from his hand. To get, actually, excuse me, he wouldn't be able to get out of that period because he only has two cards in hand. So right here, we're going to do a little bit of arranging. I think we're probably going to do some searching here. We'll swing first so they can't hit me with the Gravity Blade for my searchers and my other blocker. We'll play out the Baby 5. Very nice. We get a 10 cost Doffy. We needed that. And now I think we're going to follow up with a I can't remember his name. The Basil Hawkins. There we go. I keep forgetting his name. And guys, this is not a good position to be in. I'm just being honest with you guys. This is not a great position to be in if you're Doffy. I think Gravity Blade Raging Tiger still isn't going to help you here because you can get rid of the Carrot, you can get rid of Baby 5, but remember, guys, well, I guess, okay, here's what they could have done. They could have swung with both their characters on the board and then Gravity Blade Raging Tiger to get rid of my Carrot and my Basil Hawkins. Instead, he has a Gum Gum Red Rock. That's not bad. That's the second best option, I'd say, in that situation, other than like maybe the Gravity Blade. But... actually, let me pause and talk about it for a second. I think there were 3 excellent options, and they were all blue events. The best option would have been Perfume Femur. Just load, because there is no Rosinante on the board anymore, so if he attacks in, I can't block unless I have counter power to get out of it. So with the Basil Hawkins on the board and no Rosinante, he could have just gone, okay, use the Perfume Femur and swing like 12 or something into my guy and just risk it. That would have been like the whole turn, but still. Or Gravity Blade, Gum Gum Red Rock, that just gets rid of my guy as well. Lastly, I think would have been Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Swing out with your entire board. Even though it won't go through, that's fine. Just swing so that you can use Gravity Blade and get around the Basil Hawkins effect. Okay, here we go. They play out a Boa. They're going to set their top 3 cards of their deck. Let's see what they choose to do, and they'll attach a Dawn to a character on the board. I don't think it will matter, though, because even if they had... wait, were they considering attacking and they did not? Okay, so they were considering attacking. They had already done the Boa Hancock effect, and they're considering attacking for 6 right now. And then I guess they determined, like, wait a minute, why would I? Because I can just block with the Basil Hawkins. So that's what happened right there, guys. He goes, okay, nope, I'm not going to do it, so that way at least you can't lock down my character, my leader, with a 10-cost Doffy. Because, yes, I would have absolutely gone with that. That would have been fun. So we'll swing in for 5 here. We're going to swing in for 6, locking this guy down. Nothing changes, guys. We're just going to run this guy over with what we have. We'll swing in for 10. And this poor guy, dude, right here, we're going to play out another 8 cost. We're going to attach a Dawn, cheat this guy out over the Searcher. And here we go. And now you can't use a Perfume Femur because I have a Rosinante that can cheat, the character being KO'd or however it's worded. And what is he going to do now? He has to use another red rock, and it's just not enough. It's at this point in the game, you probably just concede, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying you should just give up. Okay, use my leader effect. I'll rest down the leader. Now he can't cheat out anything with what he set. We'll use the blocker. Your turn. I still have a 7K blocker. He's going to swing for 10 into 8. I have a 0 cost 3. Yeah, guys, that's a wrap, right? GG. That was a good game. My opponent played very well. And look, they did have a Perfume Femur. They did have the Perfume Femur that they probably should have used the turn prior. But hey, whatever. My opponent played very well. But if Bonney can get to this position where they start locking down everything on the board, it's not a good place to be. I promise you that, guys. You got to be really careful in this matchup if you're playing Blue Doffy against Bonney. Make sure you know when to swing and when not to swing. Okie dokie, here we go, guys. We're going to play, we've got a decent hand here. We're going to start off with the Jewelry Bonney, and this is a game versus Purple Luffy. Going to start off with the Bonney here. We're going to search right away, and we're going to attack. I went first. I chose to go first. I took it from the Purple Luffy player because I want to attack into them, take cards from their hand, and so on and so forth. I don't know why I didn't play out the other Jewelry Bonney. I don't know why I didn't search for that as well. That was just a mistake. Again, I keep messing that up with the Jewelry Bonnies. I left the Dawn open with my leader effect out of habit when there's nothing to rest, right? There was nothing I needed to worry about. We play out the Cavendish right on time, and the only option he has here to get rid of that is to swing 7 into it with the 7-cost Sanji. He doesn't have Sanji, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, and right here, guys, you guys know I like to play a little aggressive, right? Y'all know I like to play a little bit aggressive. So I'm really mousing over that Hody Jones, guys. Yeah, oh yeah. We're resting that down. We're going to swing 6 into 6. We're going to swing 6 more into 6. And we're going to swing 8 into 6. He just gave me, and he's going to counter out, he just gave me 4 cards for that, guys. To save that card, rest down the big boy. When he attacks in, he gets to draw 1 card back from that. And now here we go. I let him have the Cavendish because I don't think I could get out of it realistically. I probably could have, but it just wouldn't have been a good idea. We take life aggressively. I've got some good stuff on the board now. 8 into 6. Do you have it? Does not have it this time. I'm on I think I'm on a 9 Dawn turn. Yep. So right here, we can bust out the... I've got a few options. I think I've got okay, I might have just messed it up. But I was going to say, I think I could have gone Cavendish, and then stand 2 Dawn is active. So that would have only been like a 3 Dawn, investment. And I still have 6 Dawn to play out the carrot. And then still have 1 Dawn for the turn for my leader. That's okay. We're gonna rest down the guy that matters here, the big 7 cost 8K. My opponent's going to swing in for 7 now. And let's see what they do. I locked down their leader, of course. Nice. There's 10 cost Doffy. We were looking for that card, weren't we? We were looking for that guy. So right now, let's see if he attacks in. Very wise of him to not attack in there. How did he know? How did he know I was going to lock down his entire board? Oh, I'm not saying he's cheating. I'm saying, like, man, this guy, he's a good player. He actually knows what I'm trying to do. I hate when the player knows what I'm trying to do. It's the worst, It's literally the worst. But that's okay. We've got other options as well. You can't really play around every option in my hand. So we're going to play this out. Okay, they just forfeit. I do understand what on earth are they supposed to do here. They will only get 1 attack. Remember that, guys. They have no rush card in hand, and I have 1 Dawn active. So if they load up, if they try to go for like 15 and 15 or something, or what would it be? Like 5 plus 10 is 15, 25. So they could have gone like, I guess they could have gone 12 and 13 or something like that. I'm going to rest 1 guy down. 1 guy's getting rested and the other one can go through, and I'll just block with Rosinante. And now you are in checkmate because since you did try to attack in and it didn't go through thanks to Rosinante, or I could have countered out, there were so many different options. Well, now I'm going to drop down a 10 cost Doffy and your entire board's locked down. GG. It's just over at that point, guys. This guy conceded a little bit early, but the writing was on the wall for sure. All right, we got one more game. We got one more game, guys, against Red Purple Luffy, okay? I've been seeing this deck pop up quite a bit on the sim. Volume's off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. So right away, I have no turn 2 play. I didn't get any searchers this game, so we're just going to smash in for 10, or 8, excuse me. He does take it. Oh, what do you know? Another game of like 0, I have absolutely no play. Which happens. Every now and then you can brick, but it's not the end of the world. This leader can pull back from the brink of things because of the leader effect alone. So I rest that guy down. We're going to smash into him. I want the card off the board. I want that Rosinante, excuse me. I want that Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham off the board. We're going to lock down one of his Dawns so he can't do anything too crazy here. He only has 8 Dawn now instead of 9. I do think that was the right play there because, again, I just don't have a lot of better options in hand. What else could I have done for my hand? And, yeah. Okay, so they need to attack this turn to keep on the pressure, but if they attack, I'm going to rest down one of their characters or leader. So they attack for 8 into 6, so I'm going to rest down the leader. No extra attacks for you. Honestly, letting this go is scary, but I think it probably was the right play, because what is that? I don't know. I don't think the card was going to do enough for me. We'll take that hit there. Oh, and they could have also swung again into it. So we're going to play this Shanks out, and we're going to pop his the 8 cost, or the 7 cost 8K Eustace Kid. And now let's see what he wants to do. We're in a pretty good position now. I feel like with the board and everything, we have a very healthy hand size. If he tries to, you know, swing all out here, we're going to be able to... I think I should get out of this hit for 7. I should go 0 cost 3K. Yep, give him another 0 cost 3K, like just combo them to get 3K counter between the two. Plays that out. We'll take the 8K hit. Absolutely perfect. So now we can, you know, we have a lot of options now, I feel like. Now that we survived to 10 Dawn with 2 life and we have the cards in hand we need, we can probably do quite a bit here. Okay, so my leader's not attacking this turn. That's something we're just going to have to accept. The leader's not attacking this turn. Notice what's in my hand. I have 3 major options here. There are 3 major options. Tell me what you guys would choose in the comment section below. I'm on 2 Dawn, or 2 life, excuse me. I'm on 2 life. They're on 10 Dawn. So next turn, when we pass the turn, they could potentially go Time Warp Luffy and finish me off very aggressively. So I've got a few options here. It's either play out the 10 cost Doffy or play out the 8 cost Eustace Kid. I think those are really ultimately the only 2 good options. I like the 8 cost Eustace Kid here if I had just a single blocker in my hand, right? But I don't. So it's like, okay, I think I'm going to risk going the 10 cost Doffy because he will lock down 2 attacks for the turn. And I have enough to counter out if he goes all in the next turn with the 10 cost, Luffy. So we're going to swing 11 into 8. He'll probably give me a 4K counter here. Gives me Gum Gum Giant, very nice, which will also let him fix his hand a little bit. So let's see what he chooses to trash. That will give me some information, some knowledge as to what he finds important and whatnot. So he's still deciding what card he wants to trash. Trashes a 10 cost Luffy. So in other words, he has another one of those, or he's going to try something else. I'm going to play out the Shanks. Okay, that was the other option. Sorry, there was a third option where I play out the Shanks, and when he attacks in, I have 1 Dawn active to cancel out the other attack. So that was the other option. But I still think that the other 2 were better options. That's just me personally. But I guess this does get a body off the board after seeing him trash the 10 cost Luffy. Okay, we'll see what he does now. I mean, does he have the 10 cost Luffy or not? That's what we really need to know. Okay, so it looks like he's going to probably swing in first with the new gate. And the nice thing about having a 9 cost 11K on the board in my Shanks is he is not going to have an easy time removing this. He's going to have to invest a lot to get rid of that card. Excuse me. That card really is... I like that card so much better than Zoro, guys. I know Zoro helps more with like the Nami matchup. Okay, he plays out another one. I think right here I should rest the other... Yes, the 9 cost 10K. Yeah. So, okay, sure, we'll take this. And now, let's see what he does here. He's going to swing for 8, I'm sure, and we can just get out of this if we need to. Okay, you guys know what's coming next, right? So we'll 0 cost 3K and give him a 1K to get out of that. And now it's going to be... Well, first of all, we might just be able to go for game. Yeah, so let me just poke for 11, see what happens. But guys, it's going to absolutely 100% of the time be a follow-up Doflamingo here. There's no way around it. I have 3 incredible targets on the board to get off. So here we go, 11 into 8. He takes this one, and guess what? I'm saying, you know what? I think he can get out of 15. So I'm just going to lock your whole board down. Your turn. So understand what that does. Even if he plays out the 10 cost Luffy here. So let's talk about that. If he plays out 10 cost Luffy here, what happens? Okay, he can't swing with his leader, obviously, common sense. So it's going to just be, all right, next turn. He's going to, so play out the 10 cost Luffy. These cards go off the board. He goes down to 0. He uses the leader effect to go up to 1 Dawn, use the Luffy's effect to go up to 2 Dawn, pass the turn to go up to 4 Dawn, and then use the effect to go up to 5, but he only has 4 for the turn. So he would only be able to swing for 10 and 12 into me. The 12 I'll take, but notice what's in my hand, guys. I have 2, 4, 6, 7K. I have 7,000 counter in hand. I will easily be able to get out of that, and I will win on the crackback by being able to swing 11, 11, 11, 14, or whatever it be. So, okay. So we are safe. We are safe from the big, scary 10 cost play. We're very safe right now. And he passes. It looks like the only option he had there. He did have an option to play. Yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess. It just simply doesn't matter. Because, so his best bet would have actually been to probably play out the blocker. Play out the Nami, search for some 2K counters, play out the blocker. He'll be able to do counters with that as well. But guys, one 11K attack would use the 2K counter power of the Baccarat and the Gum Gum Giant from hand. That's one 11K attack. So that's like most of his counter power gone, and then the next 11K attack is probably eating the blocker, and then the next 11K attack's going through, and then if that one somehow doesn't go through and they counter out of that, well, the 14K afterwards, sure as anything, is going to do the job, right? So good game to this guy. That was a very close game. I think if he could have stabilized one more turn, he'd have been fine. I don't know if getting rid of the 10 cost was the right call, but at the same time, it probably was, guys, getting rid of the 10 cost. Because like I said, I was countering around the 10 cost. He's not winning the game off that card. So anyway, good game to them. That was a fun one. Now, just to wrap up, guys, this deck I do think is very, very competitive still. Bonney is still a very strong deck. If you're a good pilot, if you're good at decision making and making high value plays, this leader is going to do well for you, I think, guys. I really truly think that. So, guys, if I miss anything, please do not hesitate to say something in the comment section below, but please be respectful. Please be nice. The Cavendish is a big deal. If you're really serious about trying this deck out and trying to get competitive, because that's the name of this series, right? This is the competitor series that I'm going through right now. We went through a leader from every single color, all 6 colors. If you're really serious about it, this deck is only $150 altogether. That is pretty cheap by TCG standards. I mean, what's the only game that's cheaper? Maybe Digimon and Pokemon? I don't know. I don't play those games, but I think those were like the cheaper ones. But when you look at all the other big TCGs in the world today, like, you know, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, I did say. Pokemon's got the one. That's like their one biggest thing, right? They're so cheap. It's awesome. And good for them. I love that. But then even like Flesh and Blood, I think even Lorcana has gone up in price. You guys tell me if you know in the comment section below. But guys, this deck, very, very strong. If you like the color green in this game, or if you just like the color green in general and you like this deck, by all means, give it a try. I think it can still compete. Guys, I just showed it beating Blackbeard, and I'm not saying they're the best pilots, but I showed it beating Blackbeard, Shanks, Purple Luffy, Blue Doffy. If it can beat them, even if it does require a little bit of a high roll, if it can actually beat those decks, then that doesn't sound too bad to me. And like I said, when it comes to the 9-cost Shanks, I love this card way more than the 9-cost Zoro that people were playing. But I'll say this. This card is better, in my opinion, than Zoro in like 9 out of 10 matchups. But the 9-cost, let me bring up the 9-cost I'm talking about for people who might not know. But this 9-cost card here, the Zoro that can attack 3 times, the one matchup that this really helps with is Nami. But let me tell you right now, guys, Nami is not exactly in the best spot in this current meta, because Blue Doffy has a very good matchup into Nami. Shanks is not exactly terrible. Blackbeard can also steal games from Nami because of the way that the leader effect works, or not the leader, the 10-cost blocker effect works, where it can negate the effects for the turn. There's a lot of really crazy stuff going on, and Nami's not in the best position she's ever been. But let me say this, against Enel and against Nami, this card is probably better than this card. But against all the other matchups, it's hard to say, guys. I do think the looming threat of Shanks is always going to be scary. Some people might argue Blackbeard as well, but hey, remember, if they're chaining Blackbeards together, then you're not getting the attack with your biggest guy anyway. So this guy ends up being fodder, you know, just to trash with a 0-cost 3K and stuff like that. Everything's situational. That's just my thoughts, guys. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm done rambling. Hope y'all enjoyed this series. This was a fun one to do, guys. I really enjoyed doing this one. It's not every day on the channel we feature the meta decks. And what we might have to start doing, guys, I've already kind of thought of this idea. What we might start doing on the channel here is featuring like maybe a meta Mondays, where like on Mondays of each week, we'll go over like an individual, like a single deck that's in the meta that's doing well, and we'll talk about it and like kind of play through some games and stuff like that, like what we did here, like the competitor series. We might start doing that on like Mondays for the more competitive players who like to watch my channel. So we'll see. Tell me what y'all think about that as well. Okay, big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you bought the VV Pirates playmat, I just messed that up. If you bought the VV Theory playmat, thank you so much to everybody who did that. Hope you're enjoying it. Those came out really nice. And then last but not least, big shout out to the people who support me just by donating. The people here on the VV Pirates patron page. Thank you guys so much. Trying to keep the dream alive. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. All right, I'm done. Till next time, guys. Peace. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. All right, till next time. Peace.